know my destiny.
Hello, hello, hello. How is everyone? Today was a wonderful, wonderful day. I don't think I've ever been so happy to see a Monday arrive, and Megan did not let us down. FYI, if you have not yet watched the speech, where have you been? But if you haven't yet watched the speech, the link is in the chat. It was around about 10 minutes. Beautifully delivered as usual. Megan is just a phenomenal, phenomenal speech giver. So inspiring, so eloquent. Lady in red. Red stood out amongst the whole crowd, amongst everybody on that stage, and what an amazing group of people there were on that stage. A lot of inspiring people, and Megan took her rightful place right in the middle there with Harry. Harry did not say anything, but he was, I think, just very much there as a supporting his amazing wife return to a stage that she has indeed been on before. Megan has a long relationship with One Young World, and just what an incredible moment for her to come back to this stage when so much has happened in her life. But I think it truly shows that Megan was meant to be on that stage and be here in this moment, delivering this speech, because she's been doing the work. And this is just a further manifestation of the work that she has been doing. So I'm going to get into all of the details, a deep dive into that. But there have been a lot of other things happening in the United Kingdom and in royal news today. So we're going to do the usual housekeeping, and then we will get to the main story today, of course, the speech. All of the details and all of the fashion and the hair and the makeup. Yes, we'll be doing all of that. I'm actually just looking at Twitter and I've noticed that One Young World has actually blocked the comments, unfortunately, on the tweet about Meghan. The bots are out in full force today. I'm sure Jason Lee and the Palace and the digital black faces are going to be doing their absolute worst. Well, they can go right ahead. It doesn't make a difference because every single time that Meghan steps out, she delivers and they throw everything at the wall. They've thrown everything at the wall this last week, especially since the cut interview, and Meghan still landed on her feet like the cat that got the cream, and it ticks them off. But let's see who's in the house today. 600 of you in the chat already. Thumbs up and hit that subscribe button, please. Can I give a shout out and prayers to Arnold? I hope that you are recovering from your stroke, sir, and that you are doing well. Yes, Jet Aviation. Meltdown in 3, 2, 1. But you know what? Don't care. Sorry, the podcast got pushed back a little bit. As you can imagine, I was still putting together bits and pieces and clips. To be honest, I didn't even get all of the clips that I wanted to get together for today. So some other things we're going to be going through, and I'll be showing tomorrow and maybe uploading some other videos from people who were at the event and outside. There was a squaddy that I think it was Paula D that actually did go all the way to Manchester to check out the place, and she was giving a hour by hour commentary throughout the day. So shout out to the to the one squaddy that did go. Yes, Erin, it was beautiful and classy, and it is burning up the haters. Yes, Catherine, a wonderful and warm speech. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Okay, let me just scroll down all the way to the bottom to your comments. Sorry if I have if I'm missing any of your comments, because today's going to be a busy podcast. I can't go through everyone's, but thank you so much for everything in advance, and also to the mods. So let's do the housekeeping. Yesterday was Beyonce's birthday. Happy 45th to Bay. And we all remember this iconic moment from the Brits. Jay-Z and Beyonce showing their support, and they also met Harry and Meghan at the Lion King premiere because Beyonce did the voice and also one of the theme songs for the Lion King premiere, and she was there. And to have somebody of pop culture royalty status give Meghan support like this was an incredible moment, especially at a time where she was going through so much and receiving so much hate. And I'm sure behind the scenes, Beyonce has continued to be an amazing support to her and to incredible women who have been through a lot in the public eye and media individually, both incredible stories to tell. And I do hope that Beyonce does make an appearance on Archetypes. Beyonce notoriously doesn't really give interviews. She's very, very choosy. And I think nowadays she speaks more through her work than in actual interviews. So I would actually love to hear from Beyonce. But happy birthday to her. And we're still waiting for the Renaissance music videos. Also, to Serena. Oh, I'm so sorry. Did not cut this slide properly. But Serena gave her final bow. What an incredible career. Of course, the British press couldn't help but raining on the parade. But I only point this out just to show once again how the British tabloids just really, their whole business model just centers around bringing down anyone who has worked hard in their life, and certainly women of color. You know, referring to Serena as not the greatest of all time. Well, tell me who is the greatest of all time. And referring to her ravenous ego as if male players in the sport don't have ravenous egos. quite frankly, if you're the greatest of all time, one of the most influential female athletes of your career, then you're more than allowed to have an ego. And this, you know, ties in so neatly with the whole idea of archetypes and giving women negative labels that we don't often give to men. You know, if men are competitive, if they are very proud of accomplishments, you know, you don't often hear the word ego just like thrown around so aimlessly. And um, you know, Serena, like any athlete or any person in the public eye, has had her moments. Of course, she has. But would I say that they were terrible in comparison to a lot of other celebrities? Absolutely not. I think that Serena, for the most part, has just been human, and she should be very proud of her career, and where she has come from. She has worked literally from the bottom all the way up and paved the way for so many that are going to come after her. So congratulations to Serena, and thank you so much for 25 years. In the uh I guess what should be the biggest news in the United Kingdom today, but the press made it all about Harry and Meghan. The United Kingdom has a new Prime Minister, Liz Truss. I did say I thought that she would win, and she has. What was interesting though was that of the 170,000 plus people that were eligible to vote for this, turnout was only 82%, which is wild to me. So there's a good 30,000 people that did not vote. For what reasons, we do not know. Um, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, a Conservative Prime Minister is a Conservative Prime Minister, but it's interesting that those particular Conservatives decided not to vote. You already have some people describing her as the Iron Lady Part 2, in which case I could not move off this island fast enough. But like I said, I'm hoping within the next year or two, I will be gone. And it is definitely going to be a very, very tough winter, especially with the cost of living crisis and the price of fuel. The verdict is still out on what Liz Truss plans on doing about that. But if people are already calling her the Iron Lady, well, I guess she doesn't really plan on doing a whole lot other than perhaps making the situation worse. Something that I saw today that I just, oi, my blood pressure went up by 100. This morning, which is one of the propaganda mouthpieces for the British tabloids and the press, the morning talk show, regularly bashes Harry and Meghan. They had a segment this morning that, as Scott Bryan very rightly described, as dystopian and Black Mirror like, where they were offering to pay energy bills as part of a competition prize. I literally don't know what to say to that. We are meant to be a country that prides itself on being a developed nation, and you've got people fighting for a competition prize to have their energy bills paid off. That's how bad things are going to get. And the problem is that I don't know if this country has a backbone strong enough to say, we're not going to pay. But um, we are one step away from Pan Am. Uh, yeah, there's if you Trinket giving us all good luck. May the odds be ever in your favor, because they are certainly not if you are a working class person in this country. The working class are becoming the underclass. The underclass are becoming, well, I mean, how much further can you go down? Middle class are being squeezed out. We are a uh, rich country full of poor people where the wealth is concentrated. So that was what was going on the morning talk shows. Okay, I'll go to your comments before we continue. Vivian, you said that Megan's outfit was more like coral and orangey red. I thought it was corally. I don't know. I see bright red. Lynn, yes, Harry was very, very supportive, as always. I'm glad he was up there with her, even if he didn't say anything. Mm. Veronica, these are your people that are falling behind. They're like a third world country. Yeah, somebody, what did somebody once say that you've got some developed countries like the UK and the US that are third world countries wearing a Gucci belt. So it's like you've got so basically like flexing the best parts of their wealth, but underneath that there's a lot of poverty. Thank you so much to the mods because I know that you are doing the Lord's work today. The haters will definitely be out. Haters and bots will definitely be out. I'm sure Carol Middleton is on her burner account today as well. Joyce, I love how H&M were introduced, telling of their accomplishments. Yes, I thought that was amazing. Very important that they did that as well. Yes, Jenny H. A real man is not afraid of supporting his wife and helping her shine. Harry is the real G. Yes, Harry is the top G. That is a top G right there. Not these menses on their menses podcasts, slating women. Men who support women are the men that we love. Yes, Bonnie is literally the Hunger Games out here. Nobody in my friends now are laughing at me for having extra food and being a prepper now. Now I'm the sane one because I'm relatively prepared. Before I was the crazy one. All right, I think I've caught up with your comments, so we can go on to the next thing. Right, this. I mean, I saw this coming. I think we all saw this coming. So, as we know, The Voice chose Charles to be a guest editor for their 40-year edition. And following the backlash, and there was backlash that was received after his guest edit of Britain's only black newspaper, The Voice News representatives told Dean Wright, who's a journalist, that the outlet is calling for the royal family to apologize and pay for reparations of slavery. An apology and reparations remains a key demand. And as Catherine Meyer, who works for the Women's Equality Party, said, the backlash was not only predictable but predicted, and still Prince Charles went ahead with it. This is why, sorry, this is why I say the royals haven't yet grasped the extent of the damage from Meghan and Harry's departure or how this twins with other narratives. I think it also just shows the lack of integrity by some Black Brits in positions of power and influence. And I have absolutely no idea what made them think that backlash would not be the natural reaction of having Charles, who has done nothing to defend his biracial daughter-in-law from the racist abuse in this country and from the press who he works with, him and Camilla work with, literally kissing the cheeks of Rothermere and Murdoch. And you thought that you were going to invisible contract your way onto the only black newspaper in this country, and that was just going to fly. The delusion, as I always say. As far as The Voice now turning around and calling for an apology and reparations, this and demanding that, well, you should have been demanding that before. So don't now try to turn around after being a sellout, trying to be a revolutionary. Ain't gonna work. And they have disappointed many people, not just in the UK, but also abroad, because they are meant to be the most challenging, or they could be, if they wanted to be, the most challenging voice in this country against what the royal family have done. And it's only now that they're getting backlash. So as far as I'm concerned, The Voice, you're finished. Mm. Okay, and in slightly funnier news, Nigel Farage, who was one of the big Brexiteers and also a British Trumper, a British MAGA, he has now produced a new gin, red, white, and blue gin, patriotic gin. More money for his coffers. because nobody has benefited more from Brexit than the actual Brexiteers. They did this for themselves. Anyway, Professor Tanya Blutman pointed out that, sorry to break it to Mr. Farage, but gin is a European migrant. English distillers began making gin after Geneva, a Dutch jupiter flavored liquor, came to the UK in the 17th century, giving us a history lesson there, and became popular. The drink is quintessentially European. And then she then goes on to say, P.S. As the trolls have arrived, I'm going to add one thing. Quintessentially European includes Britain. That's the whole point. Gin is European history in a nutshell, and these islands are a part of it, from the migration of English soldiers who fought on the continent. And then, as somebody else pointed out, in regards to Farage, a man with a French name and a German passport produces a classically Dutch drink. How quintessentially British? Exactly. Thought that was hilarious. Over at GB News, we have this going on. So this is Nana Akua. She is a Black female correspondent for GB News. She sat there with this tomfoolery saying that, I'm sorry, I just couldn't bring myself to listen to the whole thing. It started to itch the inside of my ears. I actually watched the segment where she was saying this, and it was very, very embarrassing to watch. And what I think is so unfortunate is that, if you look at Nana, she's a dark, very, very dark-skinned Black woman, a very beautiful dark-skinned Black woman. She'd be a lot more beautiful on the outside if she wasn't so ugly on the inside. But it is our most beautiful, dark-skinned, melanated sisters who are the most degraded in our society. And if you listen to what Meghan said in her interview, she very much acknowledged her privilege or privileges that she has as a light-skinned woman in comparison to Black women, but more so dark-skinned women. I think that applies more so to dark-skinned women like Nana. And to see her sitting here speaking like this, when Meghan was advocating for women like her who look like her, I think is very, very embarrassing. GB News is, I think, going to slowly just fade away and end up being a failure. It's a total failure at the moment, but I don't think it's the hit that they wanted it to be. And I think women like Nana need to get a lot more integrity. Not everything is just about getting money and getting a paycheck, because ultimately, and we've seen this with so many Black women like her, the Stacey Dashes of the world. I mean, look at what they did to Stacey Dash. They used her and then threw her to the wayside. Candace Owens, she's next. And it just never works in our favor to side with the devil like this. So I hope that Nana can find some self-love. I'm never going to put down another Black woman, even if she's acting like a Karen. But I hope that she can find some self-love, because she is a beautiful woman, and come away from GB News. Like, you don't need to do this. Get some racial integrity, girl. Also, this came out I think this is the Mirror. Prince Charles left completely bewildered by difficult Harry and Meghan situation. And I only bring this up because I posted this on Twitter with the message, why is he never bewildered by Andrew hanging out with teenagers and pedos? And it got retweeted like to high hell. I think it was like 300 retweets or something, or likes. And that's a good question. Charles is bewildered by Harry and Meghan, but never by Andrew and his associations with Epstein. Charles really tried to insert himself in Harry and Meghan's trip. He and we know that they talked through the press, and there were articles about Charles inviting them to stay with him. I believe that Charles is in Scotland doing a royal work with a small W. So how could he have invited them to stay with him, and why would he invite them now when he's pretty much cut them off and put them in danger all this time? Also, I saw this tweet. I can't actually verify if this is real, to be honest with you, because I didn't have a moment. But if this is real, this is hilarious. There was a a billboard that said "Safe, secure, protected with minimal charges," just like Prince Andrew. I I don't know if anybody can verify whether or not that is real or fake. I didn't have a moment to fact check, but if that is real and not Photoshop, that is um the most hilarious. I probably shouldn't laugh, but I'm laughing anyway. Thing that I've seen in a while. And whoever did that, if that is real, you have balls. All right. I think that is pretty much all of the side stories. So I'm going to get through your comments before we get to the main story of the day. Ginger, I have not seen anyone on TV here in the US auction off to pay any more utility bills. We have lots of programs in this country to help people with stuff like this, especially in my state. So there were some government payments, I guess your equivalent of what would be the stimulus checks. And there's also some like winter fuel allowance, but honestly, it's completely and utterly useless. It will not cover the bills, and they're basically just printing money, which is going to cause inflation anyway. So there is help, but it's completely pointless. Mhm. Karen, these people are jealous because they don't have the support and love from their partner, like Harry and Meghan shows the world. Exactly. And do you know how wonderful is it that we actually have such a wonderful couple who's not afraid to show love to each other like this in public? Because I feel like often so much of the depictions of relationships nowadays in media, especially in things like reality TV, is just so toxic and they're always fighting, and it's like that's not how a relationship should be. Oh god. Black Queen. It's too late for that plantation magazine. Oh gosh. Oh, you will always bring the fire. Uh, um, Shanae, I didn't know there were squad parties. Hello from California. Absolutely, there are squad parties. Is this the first time that you're on a live? We always have after parties after a fantastic day. And tomorrow is going to be another fabulous day because we've got archetypes and they're going to be in Dusseldorf tomorrow. And then they come back to the UK for another event. Just wow, wow, wow. Max, well, they're waiting to see how the people would respond. Unfortunately, the internet is forever. Unfortunately, yes. A poetry, the royal family is ignorant. Say it louder for the people in the back. I mean, I don't know what they were expecting. Like, the majority of their readers to be like, "Oh, this is nice, Charles editing a black newspaper." Mm. At least you win. I agree with the Gucci statement. But in the US, there is help with getting food, and many communities have programs to pay for electricity, gas, and water bills. Okay, that's good to know. And I mean, before we do move on to the next thing, this is where Charles is. I don't know what he's actually I think he's cutting something up in Scotland. They are desperate to court Scotland because Scotland, I think, once the Queen dies, you will start hearing more calls for independence, and that will also include, I believe, independence from the monarchy. But I mean, what is this? Is this work? Cutting a ribbon? Daniel, she's a stupid woman. Who asked her to listen to the podcast in the first place? Exactly. Like you didn't have to listen, dear. Um, Gingerly, hating Meghan is not sustainable. No, I don't think it is at all. And I'm so glad that the social media platforms are cracking down on hate. So I do think that sooner or later, it will not be profitable to hate on Meghan at all. Mm. All right, let me just try and get through your comments before we move on. Approach used to like, I will never understand why black people so easily raise their hand to defecate of others. Nana is miserable. She is. And you can even see it in her eyes, like she's so miserable. And that she like she knows she's making a fool of herself. She knows. Poetry, Charles is still waiting to be king while his mom keeps the whip in whip in her bruised hands. Oh dear. You know, imagine just waiting your whole life to wear a big fluffy hat. And then after all of that waiting, the monarchy is about to shatter into a million pieces anyway. Oh, thank you so much, TCC Son, for the super chat. You said the ADS are real. Look at the New York Post or Google. New York storage billboards mocks Prince Andrew. They are. Oh, they are real. Oh, thank you so much for clarifying that. Thank you. Wow. Shout out to whoever's in that marketing department because that would definitely get my eye. Thank you so much, TCC Son. Oh, imagine if William and Kate go to the US and see that on the billboard. That'd be hilarious. Greetings to you, by the way, for just joining us. 1,300 in the chat. Fantastic. All right, let's get on to the meat of today. Yes, the speech. And I actually think, and you can tell me what you all think of this, that this is one of actually Meghan's best speeches that I have heard, I think, from her ever. I think this is almost on par with, I no, I will say I think it's only second only to her UN Women speech. No? I personally think so. And so, yes, these are some of the pictures from the event, from the camera crew doing a fantastic job there. The day started with these pictures that we got of Harry and Meghan leaving Frogmore Cottage. Now they did stay at Frogmore. I did wonder if they would, or would they feel threatened because Kate and William have moved close. But I think that Harry and Meghan are an incredible example of what it means to stand up to your bullies and be brave, even knowing that you could be putting yourself in danger. Because there has been so much back and forth about their security, but it seems like they had their, oh, well, they definitely had their own detail. I don't know, um, and we haven't really had any updates on exactly what is happening with the security situation. I didn't see any armed guards, but it seems like they felt safe to have their own security detail and uh, so safe that they even went on the train. So from Frogmore, they took a side door into Houston Station and then went up to Manchester. There was this funny moment where this guy spotted them. Lucky him. I mean, imagine just like going about your day, just randomly bumping into Harry and Meghan, and then ending up all over the Daily Fail. Like this picture was all over the Daily Fail. And Harry and Meghan were the main story of today. Number one on BBC News, their own live stream, um, alongside the Prime Minister's, and that the screen print on the side, that was the front of the Daily Fail. That was the main story. So you had the main story, Sussexes take the train, and then at the bottom you had Meghan back in Britain, and then you had 2 other articles. Wild, absolutely wild. Like, it's crazy to me because even as a fan, I I I almost feel like I'm a lazy fan because the Daily Fail and the Derangers, seem to be seem to be more obsessed with her, than we are. You're gonna do the whole front page of the Daily Fail spread was Meghan and Harry, but mostly Meghan. The number 1 story was BBC News on BBC News was Harry and Meghan's trip, and then the new PM, and then thousands filling up a shopping centre for a YouTube burger. I need to know more about that burger. But yeah, this is the obsession, the derangement. It's really giving obsessive. Now, weird thing that happened outside, there was a deranger, a Karen who was outside with a copy of Tom Bower's book. I don't know what would make someone who doesn't even like a particular celebrity spend their whole day, and mind you, she did not sound like she was from Manchester. Her accent was not Mancunian. I couldn't get the video ready for the podcast. I might show it tomorrow, but she did not sound Mancunian, so she definitely was not from Manchester. She took her time. She was holding Tom Bower's book, and she had this sign. You can't see the woman in these photos, but you can just about see the sign. And yes, she absolutely looks like a MAGA Karen. Absolutely, she does. Sounds like one too. She was ranting about cancel culture, and how you can't say anything because you get cancelled. Well, nobody was stopping you from protesting at an event that, mind you, while Harry and Meghan were there, and I'm supposing that's what you were protesting, this event was about young people. This is what this event was about. And you decided to bring your negativity to an event like this. How pathetic and sad. Now, there were some other people who were there who did challenge her. The squaddie who was there, I don't think she challenged her, which was I think a good thing, because one of the things that this Karen was saying, if you watch the video, was that the Sussex squad are vile, that we harass people, that we're attacking the Queen. So I'm glad that that squaddie kept her distance, and all she did was actually just film and take the pictures, and it was other people who were standing around that challenged her, and very grateful to those people that challenged her. But I think what's so gross is how the press actually circled this woman, and I'm wondering, was she paid? Was she a plant? She was the only one that was there who was acting in this manner. It was very, very strange. Right, get your comments before we carry on. Thank you so much, Lucy Wynn, for always reminding everybody to thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. And thank you so much to the mods as well. Wonderful job as usual. How long before we see the other one in a baggy red jumpsuit? Maggie, best speech ever. This one is all inclusive of all the young people she identified with the audience immediately. Yes, and she could identify with the audience because she's been in that audience before. She's been that young person, uh, sitting, looking up at the stage. Now she's on the stage, hopefully inspiring them. Lydia, yes, an excellent speech, but the UN speech was masterful. Yes, for me, this takes the second spot. This one takes the second spot for me. Marjorie, her speech was appropriate and brilliant. Meg was engaging, and I'm sure the young people were even more energized. Yes, and she also said, as part of her speech, that she and Harry had met some of the young people earlier in the day. Carol, how was the media able to get that close to take that picture? Oh, you mean the pictures of them going to the event? Well, they have long lens cameras, and they were following them all day. Oh, this is another thing. So the squaddie also said that she saw Chris Ship and some of the other reporters outs- outside. And she also said that she got really close to them and she was listening to their conversation. See, this is how detective squaddies are. So she got really close to them. We could actually hear them talking because she put her phone on the speaker. This was going on like a live feed in Spaces, by the way. And they were basically talking about how they can get long lens cameras or like go into some of the other buildings on the other side, see if they can get any pictures. They got nothing. Meanwhile, Omid was inside, very comfortable, as he deserves to be. The rest of them should be outside. Their long lens cameras acting desperate. She also said that there were multiple photographers in the local cafes around the area. So big up to the squaddie who did the detective work today. Thank you so much, Elaine Parker, for the super sticker. Much appreciated. Her poetry is polite. I pray that they get to Germany safely. I'm sure they will. Only to Germany, hmm, just over an hour flight, an hour and a bit. I mean, they could even get a budget airline, to be honest, if they wanted to be really low key. Harry and Meghan on Ryanair. Um, Her poetry, the British press is a lost cause. I pray that they all pay dearly in every way for the hell they have bought. I hope so too. I do believe that their time is coming. I also do think that the fact that the United Kingdom is going through so much politically is also what's going to contribute to them having their downfall. Because I do think that the international press and other people in other countries are probably going to be looking at our country and going, hang on a minute, like there's poo poo in your water and you're struggling to live. Why are you so focused on this woman? So I believe that the Royal Rota will eventually destroy the very institution that they are paid to keep within the public conscious, and that the British press as a whole will contribute to doing a lot of damage to the country. They already have, but I think that um, it it's going to, along with the royal family, contribute to what I think would be akin to a constitutional crisis. I think we're slowly going there. Cinderella, no one is attacking the queen, exactly. No one is attacking her. We are critiquing her, and we have every right to critique her because she is the monarch and the head of this entire institution. Her and her men in grey suits. Of course, she was a plant and paid. I think that she was. I 100% believe that she was a plant. Mm. And Mary, why was she covering her face? No, she wasn't covering her face. You can see her face properly in the video. It's just like the angle in the pictures. I mean, she's definitely got to be paid because how are you, a grown woman, on a Monday out here protesting Harry and Meghan? It's just so weird. Mhm. But onto Meghan's speech and exactly what she said. She spoke about her past history with One Young World, and she also let the young people know that the work that they're doing isn't just about the future, it's also about the present. And I thought that was probably the most powerful part about her speech and the part that I enjoyed the most. She also spoke about how her experience as a mother shapes how she does, or how she's moving forward with her work. And she also spoke about and letting the young people know that you are here, you are worthy, and how in her previous experience of being part of One Young World, when she was one of those young people, she felt she questioned whether or not she should be there, and she had to pinch herself and um wonder if the moment was real and whether or not she was actually there. But I feel like the way that she conveyed that, if I was a young person listening, to know that this amazing woman was once sitting in the seat that I'm sitting in, I think I would feel very, very much inspired. And I hope that the young people who were there do feel so incredibly inspired. And what a diverse group of young people, almost every country represented. And I also liked that one of the representatives did actually say that there were a lot of events around the world that said that some countries shouldn't be invited, and I think she was probably referring to Russia and maybe China. But I like that they included everyone and also reiterated that at the end of the day, decisions that are made by the most powerful people in the country are not reflective of everyone, and that ultimately we are a global community, and that I think most people just want the best for themselves and their family and each other, and we shouldn't judge each other based on decisions that our country's leaders make. Britain has done some awful things. I would not want anyone to judge me, as a British person, just because of this stupidness of my political leaders and the likes of Boris Johnson. So I'm glad that they reiterated that, and I'm glad that um, they had all of the countries come out with their flags, and it was overall just very much a message of togetherness and peace and prosperity, and encouraging young people to not just look towards the future, but to be present in the present and think about the things that they can do to push forward change in the now. So overall, a fantastic ceremony, and Meghan in red was literally the cherry on the cake. Um, but yeah, that was pretty much all I had to say. Uh, Listen, I could have shown you a whole bunch of other slides about, all of the nonsense that other people in the British press have been saying leading up to this event today, but it's just not relevant. They have thrown everything at the wall, and it just hasn't worked. It's been a fantastic day. And if I'm gonna end with anything, I'm gonna end with this. Patrick J. Adams, this is what he tweeted about his friend. This is Meghan's former Suits co-star saying, "It's sickened me to read the endless racist, slanderous, clickbaiting vitriol spewed in her direction from all manner of media across the UK and the world. But I also knew that Meghan was stronger than people realised or understood, and that they would regret underestimating her." Amen, sir. Amen. Look at her. This is actually, I feel like, the first time I feel like I've really gotten, like, a close-up look of, like, Meghan's face and her features, with, the news cameras and stuff that they have, nowadays. It's almost like they have an invisible filter on them, so people do tend to look better on camera, than they do in person, and I feel like the way the camera was so focused on her face and the lighting, like, you can really see how beautiful her features are, her freckles, her gorgeous skin. Her eyes are, like, hazily, And, we've seen her even without makeup, and she looks, fantastic. But I just thought from head to toe, she looked lovely. I think are her are her earrings kind of heart shaped? I don't know if it's just the angle, but the gold with the red looks fantastic. Rightio. Oh, and so does her slick ponytail. We love a good, slick Meghan ponytail, very Tig. But that is pretty much all for today. I will end with your comments. Thank you so much, everyone. And yeah, tomorrow's Archetypes Tuesday with Mindy Kaling. So I think the episodes usually drop around like what, 2:30, 3:30. So look out for that and make sure you go and listen so that it goes straight to number one again. Thank you so much, everyone, as usual. Thank you so much to the mods. 1,400 in the chat today. I am so sure that we've had trolls, and I have faith that you, as always, have swatted them and troll sprayed them out. Cookies and cream, the lady with the book was definitely a plant. I wouldn't put it past the unroyals and their racist flunkies to try and sabotage the event so they could have something negative to report. Exactly. And I even said um, that one picture of her with that sign will get used in the Daily Mail articles for sure. Mm. But she 100% proved why we call them derangers. Um, Sharon, can anyone in the squad tell me where to find those earrings? They are gorgeous. Go on Instagram and check out Megan's Closet Chronicles or Megan's Mirror. I find that Megan's Closet Chronicles sometimes tends to ID things a lot faster, but Megan's Mirror is also really good as well. Oh, thank you so much, Leg. Oh, Leg, you do the Lord's work. Only 1,400 in the chat and only 600 likes. The trolls are out and about today. Yeah, like I can imagine there are so many trolls in here today. Thank you so much for the views, guys. Oh, also thank you to CN Adams for joining as a Silver Squaddy membership. Much appreciated, darling. Trolls are always welcome as long as you stay silent. Kathy G, she needs to pay her energy bill. Who, the Nana woman? Is that why she's being a coon? Oh gosh. I mean, she could just call me. Well, she could have just called me, and we could have built this channel together. But oh no, you decided to be a troll. That was not an invite, by the way, Nana. If you're listening, I don't want you anywhere near me. Yes, embarrassing her children. I'm not embarrassed. Very embarrassing. Yes, she looked absolutely stunning. Our princess 41 never looked so good. Queen of speeches. Like, where's the 41? Where? Show me the 41. This is why the haters be hating. There was one publication that had 3 different articles about her by 3 different women, and yes, they were all Karens. Yes, gift love. Meghan is a phenomenal woman. And yes, Patrick is absolutely loyal. Mm. He completely and utterly underestimated Harry's wife. She was born for this. I mean, how incredible that she's literally coming back to it. Do I have the picture? Yes, I do have the picture. Where did I put it now? How incredible that she's literally coming back to the stage where she was. There she is, and there she is with Trudeau. It was written in the stars. You know, Meghan is a great example of when you really put yourself out there, when you network, when you have faith in who you are as a person. She was born to be where she is, and she was absolutely destined to be Harry's wife, because who else would have the strength that this woman has had? This is just a phenomenal level of strength from that nobody should actually have to have. Nobody should have to be this strong to bear what Meghan has bared, but she has, and she is still graceful and has retained her joy. And I guess, uh, she's I don't know, I guess maybe at some point, do you just start feeling sorry for the people that hate you? 'Cause it's just odd. Even though I know that money is behind it, to be so obsessed and hateful towards someone, like, it's gotta be more than just money. Like, I genuinely think these people hate her, and it's just so sad, and part of it comes from the hate of themselves. I think that Meghan really, triggers a lot of people because she reminds them of their own mediocrity. Oh, thank you so much, Wilson, for listening, and everybody for supporting as always. Alright, who is going to get oh, Cinderella, the red outfit is Valentino. Thank you so much for clarifying that. Right, who's going to get the last word of the day? Alright, Angela, I'm going to give you the last word of the day, keeping everyone in our prayers. Yes, we are. Keep Arnold in your prayers. You always give a wonderful podcast, and well, I have an incredible audience. You can't have an amazing podcast without an incredible audience. I am sure Pismore is involved in the haters. I'm sure he is, and I'm sure that he's in a puddle of tears today. I hope he is. And I hope the rest of you have a wonderful day, a wonderful evening. Thank you all so much, guys and dolls. Archetypes Tuesday tomorrow. Let's go.
I know I messed it up, but in my soul, I feel a love for you that's out of control. Sometimes I feel like I can make you whole. I just can't change my emotions. There isn't anything I wouldn't do to prove that everything I say is true. And if you let me, I can love in you. I just can't change my emotions. Come on, love me again. You're all I need. Can you love me again? I need. Come on,
People should expect the real me in this, and probably the me that they've never gotten to know. Certainly not in the past few years, where everything is through the lens of the media, as opposed to, hey, it's me. I'm just excited to be myself and talk and be unfiltered, and yeah, it's fun.